So I did this review before, but something came up that I couldn't finish it. I was actually hoping a friend was going to join me, but it doesn't seem like he has the time and the schedule to do it. So I'm going to jump through these. This is a review of not just Jurassic Park, but Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, and of course the new Jurassic World. So as I was saying, this is I'm going to start with Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park, and then I'm going to move into Jurassic World. There's a lot to talk about how I saw it. I saw it in 3D, which is unusual for me because I'm not a big fan of 3D. The Jurassic Park came out in 1993, which I should really look this stuff up and have it all ready. So Jurassic Park came out in 1993. It was Steven Spielberg directed film, and it was loosely based off the book. A lot of stuff wasn't added from the book, just because it would have made it really long. You know how the book to movie type things go. But this thing really captured our imagination of what we saw as dinosaurs. As a kid, I loved watching Walking with Dinosaurs. It's the most realistic view of dinosaurs that they had to date. And Jurassic Park came out. This wasn't a highly CGI. Matter of fact, a lot of CGI wasn't even used, except for some of the bigger scenes, where it was more open area and you had the herd of dinosaurs moving through. That was a lot of CGI, but they actually used a lot of animatronics. Attacked by a dinosaur now. In the film, like the T-Rex, the only problem was that certain things couldn't get wet, which was really difficult when they filmed the T-Rex in water. So this is a story about Alan Grant and Dr. Sadler and Dr. Grant going to the Jurassic Park. The park was opened up by Hammond. He wanted this to be this magical place where kids can come, see live dinosaurs, learn more, have fun. It was all about the kids. And he was basically looking for more approval of people in that field. And so what this movie had over other movies was just the fact that it was dinosaurs was the big thing for me as a kid. And it wasn't just this wow factor either. It was this story. All the dinosaurs got loose. They were trying to fight to survive. It was definitely I would have to say one of Steven Spielberg's best films. But it actually had a storyline, it actually had character development, it had some very important things in it that makes a movie good. This movie was re-released in 3D, I want to say 2-3 years ago, and it actually did really well. It did just as well as it did when it first came out, which was amazing for a movie to be re-released in theaters. And then, we're sitting there, we're all like, oh, this was awesome, and, it was just, everybody was big and thrilled about it, and wanted to see more, so we got more. So 1997 is rolling along, and we finally get the sequel 4 years later of Jurassic Park. Unfortunately, it wasn't the sequel we wanted, nor we deserved for being huge fans of this movie. It was this sequel that fell really short. Alan Grant's not in this one. The guy who played Alan Grant, Sadler, she's in it. No, is she in it? If she is, she's not in it a lot. I think it's just a quick scene. And I think it was deleted eventually anyways. But Hammond's in it at the beginning. He basically sold engine. And they want to reopen the park. So they send this whole expedition out there to go capture animals to bring them back to the mainland. Ian Malcolm hears about his girlfriend going along. And he knows how dangerous this place is, so he goes along too. Well, he goes to bring her back. Turns out his daughter, she tags along too. And it was a great storyline for the most part. We saw a lot more CGI, a lot more different dinosaurs than we saw the first time. So that was actually kind of cool to see more of that coming along. The movie fell apart, I would have to say, right at the end when they all came back, because the guy who's running this whole thing, the main villain, he wanted to bring the T-Rex back to the mainland. The T-Rex ends up escaping, runs around the city and stuff, and that was the killer of the entire film. That was like, we really didn't need to see that. For some reason, it just didn't work. Basically, this mother T-Rex was looking for a baby, and Malcolm had to get the dinosaur back on the ship, and then they just sent the ship out in the water, and it was going to land, and they were tracking it, and it was a horrible ending. It was supposed to be like this big, sigh of relief that the dinosaurs were going to be okay and be back on land and hunt again, and it fell apart. If they would have stayed on the island and waited until rescue, and that was the big kind of, I guess, ending. I guess wouldn't be considered a big ending, but if they never would have came back to the mainland, it would have been a better film. It was good all the way up until that point. We saw a lot of different characters clashing from one group to another. You had Malcolm's group, which was more the environmentalist, and then you have this other group that was more the hunters, the scientists, stuff of that nature. So it was two different groups kind of clashing in that area, which was great. Velociraptors are in this one as well, but they are not as... They're more comical in this one than I felt in any other Jurassic movie. And so I think that kind of killed it too. That was really kind of a low point in the film. Now Jurassic Park, I would definitely give it a 5 out of 5 as far as movies. It was a great movie. Lost World was definitely like I'll say 3 out of 5 for the sheer fact that for the first 2/3 of the movie, it's a great movie. But that last part is really what killed it, which for me kills a lot of the ratings and credibility to the franchise. And we all thought that was going to be it. Then unfortunately in 2001 we get Jurassic Park 30. Why the second one wasn't called Jurassic Park The Lost World, I honestly, I'll never know. That to me just never made any sense whatsoever. But we got this third one. And this third one was supposed to be the wow factor. It's supposed to spice everything up. Supposed to be this great, grand, wonderful crap. The Lost World, by the way, I believe was the only sequel, or one of the only few sequels that of Steven Spielberg did. But this one was done by Joe Johnston. I wouldn't say by a directing standpoint it was bad. I just think overall the acting and the storyline's what killed this film. So Grant and his assistant Billy get offered basically tour this rich couple around and point out the dinosaurs and make a lot of money and finance their digs for a long time. Okay, kind of understand it. Turns out this family's not rich. They're a bunch of liars. And they're looking for their son who had crashed or some, I don't know how he got stuck on the island, but he got stuck on the island. Nonetheless, they have to go find him. The first 10 minutes of landing on the island, you get the glimpse of the T-Rex again. So like, okay, the T-Rex is in this. But when this movie came out, we knew that there was going to be more than just the T-Rex. And there was a new villain, new badass in town. It was the Spinosaurus. If you don't know anything about Spinosaurus, it's bigger than the T-Rex. So they had this... At the time when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is really cool. A fight scene between the two. I went back and watched it a while back, and I was really like, wow, I thought this was cool at one point. Because it was over like that, and it was bad CGI. It was crap. The Velociraptor started growing feathers because they were jumping evolution. And they were stretching for, I guess, the wow factor, and they didn't get it at all. This by far was the worst film in the franchise. The idea to cover yourself in pee so the dinosaurs wouldn't chase you. It's just overall, there were just so many stupid things in this with an awesome dinosaur they could have done something with. I do have to give them credits when they go through the bird cage while the pterodactyls were at. That was kind of cool. I liked seeing that. That was kind of different than, the Spinosaurus. But then quickly we got right back to the Spinosaurus and crap, more crap. This one was definitely a 2 out of 5. It was absolutely horrible. So 2015 is here, and we are getting Jurassic World. If you haven't seen this movie, I'm going to tell you right now before you watch anything else. I will give spoilers, but this movie was amazing. It's as good, if not better, than the first one. It was the sequel we deserved. We didn't get two very good sequels to the first film, but this one really hit it out of the park. I have to give props to everybody involved. to Colin Trevorrow. He was the director of this film. He did an amazing job of this, capturing the action, the pace of this film. There's only one bad thing I did not like about this film, and I'll get to that very last, but it's so insignificant. If you watch this film to enjoy the dinosaurs, to enjoy the action, enjoy the characters, you will, because I guarantee you that you will enjoy it, that they did an amazing job. I was really, really happy with this. Chris Pratt, anything he's in right now is going to turn to gold. If you haven't heard that this film is $511 million. That's $209 million. It basically broke the Avengers. It's the highest domestic movie of all time right now. So I give him mad props. Chris Pratt is on fire. He did an awesome job. He was a badass in this film. He had his moments where he was actually Chris Pratt and he made you laugh. But for the most part, he was this badass. He was kind of the guy who don't look at these as assets. Look at them as dinosaurs. They eat, they hunt, they, as he put it, and you got to relate to one of them, and that's how he's the alpha. Claire, she's the new Hammond. I wasn't with her character at first. I kind of hated her character, but she came around. Now I have to say this: I've never seen a girl run in high heels as well as she did. So props. I don't know if that was she had a platform she could run on, or if she was actually running, but either way, she did a really good job to stay in high heels that long. Gotcha. There's also a couple other guys. You got Vincent D'Onofrio. You know me with names. I'm horrible with names. He pretty much played the bad guy in this. He's the guy you hated. He was the dreamer who wanted to use the Velociraptors in a bad way. Let me start by going through this film. It opens up with the Velociraptors, but as babies. And then it quickly leaves that, goes elsewhere. Where did this film go? It goes with Claire trying to show off that what the new dinosaur is, to the executives who were going to put more money towards this project. And there are a lot of funny moments, a lot of good characters and stuff in this, and it moves along, and they want Chris Pratt's character Owen to take a look at this new dinosaur. He's in charge of the raptors right now. Hoskins, who's the bad guy, the guy I just told you about, he wants to use the raptors instead of Marines or soldiers and stuff. He wants to send raptors in there. He's an idiot. In the commercial, it really showed that Chris Pratt had control over the raptors, and he really didn't. He had control about any you and me having control over wolves. It was very, very little. But I love the raptors. I love the personalities they put in the raptors, even though you only really saw one personality, Blue. But it was that good conflict, even a CGI conflict with the main character. It was still really good. I still really enjoyed that kind of tension that was there between those two. Well, Chris Pratt goes and sees the new dinosaur, and he's kind of a behavior therapist. He understands behavior, and especially with animals and stuff, and he knows that something is wrong right off the bat with this dinosaur. And the pace picks up really quickly. They send assault teams out to go hunt the dinosaur. It kicks their ass. The pace of this film is very like this, but it never gets so low that you get like, all right, when's something gonna happen? It's constantly moving. Something's constantly happening. I'm going to skip all the way to the end. The end finale was great. I expected it to be done and something else would happen. I expected it to be done, something else happened. It kept going to this awesome end of the movie battle, and it was so well put together. It even closed out really well, and I won't say what happened on that, even though I did say there were going to be some spoilers. But I actually didn't see it coming. I wasn't paying attention. I was just focused on all this awesome stuff that was going around. I was oblivious to stuff in the background. And so this movie closed out really well. Where it goes from here, they're going to do a sequel. They have to. With how much money they made, it would be ridiculous not to. The thing is, I don't want them to. Because I'm afraid of another Lost World. I'm afraid of another Jurassic Park 3. So it's kind of, you gotta kind of, I don't know, see where they want to do this, see how they want to do this. So it'd be interesting where they go from here. The one thing I didn't like about this film, and I almost forgot about to say about it, is the music. The music timing for the film, just, it wasn't where it needed to be. The timing was completely off. And I really hate to say that, but it really was. You know, the dramatic music that we always hear when we think of Jurassic Park, it happened at the wrong time. They could have done so much better as showing it, or as playing it to what they were playing it to, and that kind of, it irked me a little bit. But at the same time, when you forget about that and you focus on everything else, the movie was phenomenal. This was a 5 out of 5. This was as good, if not better, than the first one. One of my buddies had a thing he wanted to rant about, and I told him, you know, I'd let you rant on here. You know, I'd put his cam down there, and he would just go at it. He didn't like the Raptors. He absolutely hated the Raptors. I understood. I kind of got where they were coming from, what they were trying to do. The Velociraptors, they're not as fierce and intimidating as they were in the first film or the third film, or, well, I guess all 3 of those films. They were more domesticated, but still not to the point. They were still wild animals, and Chris Pratt's character Owen really made that clear. He's like, even if I have them trained, they're still wild animals, and they need to hunt, they need to kill. And so that's where I understood that part with what he was saying. But there's one more thing I forgot to talk about that I initially wanted to put in this video, was I saw this in 3D. As I said before, I'm not a big 3D fan. They really haven't fixed it, and here's what happened. I went to movie theaters, planning on going to see it at 1 o'clock. Sold out. 2 o'clock, sold out. 3 o'clock, sold out. And it was sold out all the way up until like 7 o'clock. They had a few tickets left for the 3:30 3D version. So I was like, screw it, I want to see this movie. I'm going to go see this movie. And it was alright. I still got the feel of the movie, the visual idea of the movie. It just wasn't there were scenes where the camera moves too fast and it still wants it to be 3D, but it doesn't work. So if you're going to see this, whether it's in 2D or 3D, I suggest 2D. Works a lot better than 3D still. 3D, they're still falling short, and there's still some things that need to be worked on. But I just want to throw that out there real quick. Subscribe to the channel. Comment, like, give me what you got. Thanks for watching. Twitter is above. You can follow us. We tweet out before we go live. We go live on Twitch, where we stream all these games live for you to watch. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on these channels. Thanks for watching.